Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to the Steam Monster Summer Sale Day 8. I've got a lot of games to get through, so I'm going to try and go really fast on this one, because I already did a 45-minute episode and it was too long. So, first and foremost is Medieval Engineers. At 12 bucks, 40% off, it is a great medieval physics simulator. If you like Space Engineers, if you like Besiege, this game is kind of going to be up your alley. That said, at 12 bucks, I don't know, you could probably wait, but if it's been on your list, and you've been waiting for this one to go cheap, I think this is the historical low. Okay, next up is the Age of Wonders franchise. It's very hard to explain what these games are. They're tactical RPGs, but kind of with the 4X strategy flair. Kind of in the background. It's kind of like if Civilization resulted in you wandering around with specific hero units and doing quests and stuff instead of just, you know, invading. They're fascinating, and I truly would only recommend picking up Age of Wonders 3. The base game is 10 bucks, and I believe the DLC is 6? I think it's like a DLC expansion pack. It's an expansion pack. Nope. The expansion pack is actually $13.39. So honestly, they might be coming out with more, but they're definitely going to go lower along the way. The base game is pretty good. And the expansion pack really is on sale. So I personally would recommend just getting the game on, you know, on like the base version, and then pick up the expansion packs later when they go full price. I don't see a definitive collection edition. Oh, yep, there it is. The Age of Wonders 3 collection for 30 bucks. That will go on sale for more later on in the year or next year or something like that. So unless you're super passionate about the series, I'd wait. There will be a better price for it. Same thing with The Escapist at 33% off, $12.05. It's a damn good game. The art style isn't much, but the gameplay is kind of clever, kind of unique, and very humorous. But unless you're really gunning for this game, I'd recommend waiting. It's, I think, pretty close to the historical low, but it is definitely not, you know, a deal to go running out the door for. In contrast are the Batman games, which Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman City, Game of the Year Edition, and Arkham Origins are all 5 bucks each. So I personally recommend Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. I've 100%ed City, and I just finished this series on Asylum. Both are damn good games. I have yet to play Arkham Origins, but I've heard that it, in comparison to Asylum and in comparison to City, it's kind of a meh title. It's got some weird quirks, and the combat just isn't as good. It was made by a different studio from the you know, main one that worked on Asylum, City, and then Arkham Knight, which will be coming out in a couple of days. That said, I also don't recommend picking up Arkham Origins right now because the DLC/Season Pass is currently not on sale. So unless you're really passionate about picking up Arkham Origins, there will be a better sale. In fact, I think Bundle Stars usually has the game and the Season Pass for about $5 each. That's where I went off to go get it. So I'd recommend heading over there and keeping an eye on that site, because that's where you're going to get the Batman Arkham games a lot cheaper than here. That said, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, lowest price they've ever been, and I highly recommend picking them up. They're wonderful Batman games, and this is coming from somebody who hates the movies, hates the comics, and only liked the Batman Beyond TV show. So, they're well written, they're well designed, they're very fun to play, and you get about 12 to 25 hours out of each of them, which is pretty solid. Okay, moving on, Hand of Fate. Very similar combat style to the Batman games, you know, very action RPG-y, you know, you've got press A to dodge, X to attack, Y to counter, there we go, and B to like stun people. It's a very well done indie game. It's got some really unique mechanics. Everything is randomly generated. You create a deck that you get to draw cards from. That either, you know, go into your equipment pile, or you then have to confront. So, you know, you can pull the goblin cards, and suddenly your equipment's been stolen by 3 goblins, so you have to go beat the tar out of them, while dodging traps and potentially enemies, to get your stuff back before they teleport away. It's a fascinating game, and I truly recommend it. Now, the price tag is $12.50, and that is because, they're updating the game consistently. They just released Murder at Sea, which adds like a whole new mini campaign, as well as a bunch of new cards. So if you're wondering why the game's been out for a couple of months now and the price really hasn't gone down, it's been early access for ages, but it went 1.0 back in February. But if you're wondering why the price isn't low, it's because they keep adding on to the game. So that's a fairly good justification for keeping the price high as far as I'm concerned. Okay, next up, Grid Autosport. I'm skipping it. I don't know. Anno 2070, which is a great city builder marred by the fact that it's made by Ubisoft and has the worst of the worst Uplay DRM. In fact, it's not just Uplay, it's the, what's it called? Oh, Solid Shield, which is even worse. It makes it nigh on unplayable for most people. And so despite the fact that the game is a fairly decent city builder, especially for like a environmentally conscious, you know, futuristic one, the unfortunate reality is it's not going to run on most systems. So be very wary before picking this one up. Okay, next up is Dungeon Defenders 2 at 50% off. Oh yeah, Anno 2070 is $7.50. Forgot to mention that. Okay, Dungeon Defenders 2 at $12.50, 50% off. It's a great game, but I do not recommend it at this price. Why? Because the game is going to be going free to play. So unless you're really passionate about picking this game up early access, then wait for it to come out free to play. You do get Cash Shop. You effectively are getting Cash Shop stuff by pre-ordering it, but if you don't really care about cosmetic skins and whatnot, it's not worth going out of your way for Dungeon Defenders 2. Because it'll go free eventually, and you can actually unlock all of the cosmetic stuff generally by just playing the game. So, except for, you know, getting your hands on it sooner, there's no reason to buy it now. Okay, next up is Evolve at $30, 50% off. It's not a good deal, just baseline, and then if you look at the DLC, it's like, oh yeah, this is doubly not worth it. I believe to get the DLC attached to the game, it's $40, and that's just the Season Pass DLC. If you want to get everything, it's $50. I just wait. I just wait until that 50 price tag goes down to 10, 20, somewhere in there. Because currently, it's not worth it. It's got a fairly low population comparatively. And it's really only truly worth playing if you've got 4 other players to play with. Because it's much more fun when you can heckle, you know, the people you're hunting, the monster you're hunting, or your other teammates for making a bad move or something like that. It's okay to play by yourself, but it just doesn't feel the same. Okay. I guess that said, it is a damn good game. It's just a matter of, it's for that price tag, for those limitations, it's not worth picking up yet. Okay, next up is Ori and the Blind Forest, a damn good platformer, but the price tag of $12 and 40% off, it is nowhere close to the lowest price it will ever be. In fact, if you're not like rushing out the door to get this one, it's kind of a bad price tag. It's a fairly recent game, came out back in March, which is why it's so high comparatively. This is me just being a cheap ass, by the way. It's a damn good game and it's absolutely worth it at the price, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is it will be cheaper come Christmas. So unless you're really looking to sink your teeth into a damn good platformer and you've been looking for a very pretty one, Ori and the Blind Forest is perfect for you, but otherwise I'd say wait. Just because it will get cheaper along the way. Okay, next up is Life is Strange at 20% to 50% off. I also say wait. Why? Because the game's not even out yet. I think like episode 1 and maybe 2 are out at this point, and it's just not worth picking games up that are incomplete, in my opinion. Especially when the price tag for the complete version is $16, and you know, just picking up episode 1 is $2.50. So assuming we get to the end and everything is $2.50, it'll eventually be priced $12.50 on sale, if not lower. So personally, I would recommend waiting until the game is complete. A, because you won't have to wait for the story, and B, because the price will go lower. Okay, next up is Ark, another game that I'm going to say wait for. It's 17% off, and it's been 17% off for this entire week, which is a little bit ridiculous. Still, at $25, if you want to get into an open-world survival sandbox game, Ark is probably the best one out. You ride dinosaurs, you get guns, it's fun. It did have a bit of a rocky launch, and there are a couple of issues here and there. That said, it's a damn good game, and I'd probably recommend it. I don't know if there's going to be anything coming in to take its place fairly soon, but it does seem like it's one of the better open-world survival sandbox games to come out in the past year. Okay, next up is Walking Dead Season 2 for $6.24. You can also actually pick up Walking Dead Season 1. They're the same price, and I truly recommend picking both up. Well, obviously you gotta pick up the first one first, because they're actually in sequence, and it would be a darn shame if you picked up Season 2, didn't have Season 1, and played through it and were like, who are these people? I don't care. So truly, pick up Season 1, then see if you want to play Season 2. It took me about 6 months to be ready to play another Walking Dead game, and I ended up waiting a whole year because just the emotional trauma, effectively, playing through the game. They are hard to get through emotionally. They are really rough. So I would recommend picking up the first one, and then waiting to see if you really want to play the second one. The second one's not as good, doesn't have as interesting of characters, and the writing is a little bit less quality, like lower quality, but still. Ultimately, they're both really, really good games, and I'd highly recommend them. And these are great price tags. So if you're up for it, you like Telltale games, these are absolutely worth picking up. And I don't think the price is ever going to get any lower than this. Okay, next up is Shovel Knight at $10.04, 33% off. Absolutely recommend picking it up. It's a damn good retro-style platformer. A lot of charm, a lot of, I guess, it's really high quality. I mean, it's a labor of love, but it's a well-done labor of love. Now, why is the price tag so high on a game that's been out for a while? I guess it's been out for almost a year now. Reality of the situation is they're adding free DLC to the game, or free expansion content to the game, as a result of a Kickstarter backer tier. So they're keeping the price tag high because they're adding more content to the game. And, you know, I'm sure it's one of those where the game's popular enough that you can quite easily charge as much as you want, and people will still buy it in droves. So, personally, it will go, I do think it will go on sale for cheaper. That said, I already bought it at this price, and I highly recommend it. So, if you like retro platformers, Shovel Knight is the game for you. Okay, next up, Dying Light at $45, 25% off. It's a bad deal. It's pretty steep, and, like, it's a good game. It is actually a really good game. So if you wanted to like Dead Island, but it was garbage, Dying Light is going to be pretty much worthwhile. That said, since the price is bad, head on over to bundlestars.com. I think it's bundlestars.com. Or is it It's Indiegala. Indiegala has it for, I want to say it's Indiegala has it for 30 bucks. Okay, so if you do want to pick up Dying Light right now, head on over to indiegala.com, and they're selling it for 50% off at, you know, 30 bucks, which is absolutely worth it in comparison. Though I would recommend, if you're going to be playing through the game, I truly would recommend picking up a second copy, because like, this game is so much more fun when you actually have friends to play with. Otherwise, I mean, it's an okay game, but it's less fun. Co-op games are always more fun when you're actually playing co-op. Okay, next up are the Castlevania Lords of Shadow games, 1 and 2. 1 is for $7.50, and 2 is for $10. I don't like the games. I think they're kind of bad. I think they're better action RPG out there, third-person action RPGs. So, personally, I would say skip them, wait on them, I don't know. But they have really bad camera mechanics, kind of crummy combat in comparison to some of the other games. And they're just not super fun. I wanted to like them. I wanted to like them real bad, and they're almost there. But a couple of, like, key bad game design decisions kind of crippled the series for me. That said, if you are really interested and you want to get into it, Lords of Shadow 1 is better than Lords of Shadow 2. There is continuity between the two, but you can jump in at any point. But the first one has better writing and better environments. But still, I think there are better ones out there. Okay, next up, Risen 3 Titan Lords. Haven't seen anything about this game. I thought it was something else. I'm not actually going to talk about it because I don't have an opinion. It's an action RPG. It apparently has fairly decent reviews. I don't know. Okay, next up is Hero Generations. It's a roguelike, plays like a mobile game. Isn't a mobile game. I'm kind of confused about this. Still, at $10.04, 33% off. It's not a bad price tag. Personally, I would say wait on it just because the price is going to go down, and I don't know if they're truly still updating the game. Every once in a while when I'm like, nah, they're not going to update it again, they come up with a weird little update that only adds just a little bit, and I'm like, maybe I should go back to this, maybe I shouldn't. And I ultimately don't, but it's one of those where I'm not sure where they're going with the game, and currently I think the $10 price tag is a little bit high for a game as simple as Hero Generations. It's good, and I truly do recommend it, just later. Okay, let's skip Dead State. Don't know what it is. Haven't seen it. The price tag doesn't look big enough for me to, you know, figure it out. Spec Ops: The Line. Damn good third-person shooter, cover shooter, and I think it's a third-person shooter. Cover shooter, and it's got one of the deepest and, like, kind of most emotionally jarring shooter storylines I've ever heard of. It's very, very high quality, and I truly do recommend it. And it's $6, 80% off. you can't go wrong with the price. Word of warning, some of you might have gotten it for free from a Humble Bundle deal a couple years ago, so make sure that you don't already have it before buying it again. Okay, next up is Titan Souls. $9, 40% off. This is the historic low. However, I truly would recommend picking it up with the soundtrack because the soundtrack is quite possibly better than the game, as far as I'm concerned. The game is very hard. You have a bow, you have an arrow, just one arrow, and you have to take out a Titan. You drop your arrow, you have to go get it. There are clever ways of getting your arrow back, including like a magnetism thing, but ultimately every section of the game, every boss is more of a puzzle than an actual boss fight, which I actually really appreciate because it makes for a very interesting combat, very interesting encounter design, and a very cathartic game, especially by the time you finally make it to the end, especially the secret boss, which, spoilers, you get to the secret boss just by beating all the previous bosses. I don't know. Okay, next up is Postal 2 at 90% off for $1. It's probably worth it if you liked Hatred or you liked the idea of Hatred, but it was too shallow and just not interesting for you. Then Postal 2 is totally worth picking up. It's a first-person shooter, and you run around just murdering all sorts of people. They actually just released an expansion pack on this game, like, what, 12 years after its original release? 13 years after its original release, they just added an expansion pack on. So if you want to get Postal 2 and the expansion, it's $5, or you can just get Postal 2 base edition for $1. I have trouble recommending it because it makes me sound like a sociopath, but it is a good deal. So make it that is what you will. Next up is the Zombie Army Trilogy. I was complaining about this earlier when it was $32, something like that. Anyway, $22.49, 50% off. The game is totally worth picking up. It is it's 3 games in one. It's Zombie Army 1, Zombie Army 2, and Zombie Army 3, and then they've all been kind of HD re-released. They look really nice, and they play very well. They're very fun games, and it's a bit of a high price tag, but I mean, it is a 3-game combo pack. Truly, I just wish Zombie Army 3 was actually just a separate game, and I could buy it that way, because I already have 1 and 2, and I really don't care about the HD remakes, but I don't really have much of a choice. So if you've been waiting to pull the trigger on this one, this is the cheapest price it's been since the original deal to make it cheaper if you had 1 and 2 already. That said, ultimately the price will probably go down to about $12 by next Christmas, so if you want to wait, I'd recommend waiting, especially because the 4-pack is still pretty pricey. You can get a 4-pack for about $48, which isn't a bad deal either. But was it 48? Maybe it was 64. It's $64. Well, it's $68, my bad. But ultimately, I would say wait on this one unless you really want to get into the Zombie Army games, because the price will go lower. Okay, next up is Battle Block Theater. If you've got a friend to play with, this is quite possibly some of the most fun you will ever have. It's a cooperative puzzle platformer. The narration is the true highlight of the game. It's hilarious and kind of fucked up, but like in a great way. So I truly recommend it, and with a price tag of $1.49, this is quite possibly the best deal here in terms of like sale content per fun. Whatever quantity, stick of measuring you're using for fun, this game will surpass it. I truly enjoy it. I truly recommend it. Unfortunately, the 2-pack is on a bad sale, so just buy 2 copies of it. Close enough, right? Right. Okay. SimCity 4, 78% off, $4.40. I mean, it's a good deal, but ultimately I'd say go pick up City Skylines instead. Rayman Legends at $10, 75% off. Damn good deal, damn good game. Some of the best platformers, like one of the best platformers I've ever played. That said, if you have a Wii U, I'd recommend picking it up over there, just because it's got some unique mechanics specifically to that platform. No other console or platform has them. Effectively, you can use the Wii U gamepad to affect different puzzles and stuff like that. It's actually really cool. All versions of Rayman Legends are 4-player co-op. They're all local co-op, unfortunately. If they were online, I would be so happy. But if you want to get into them, they're great games. They're wonderful, wonderful platformers. And, actually, Rayman Origins is currently on sale for $2.50. So, if you're kind of on the wall about this one, go pick that one up. They're very similar. Legends is a little bit better, but Origins is more than good enough. and you will get your money's worth for sure out of them. So at the very least, pick up Rayman Origins. It's fun. The games can be played solo, but it's just not as entertaining. Okay, next up is Back to the Future, the game, which is a Telltale game before Telltale got super huge, so it plays much more point-and-clicky, much like Sam & Max. At 80% off, $5, totally worth getting, especially if you like the Back to the Future movies. If you've never seen Back to the Future, this one probably worth skipping just because you're probably not going to understand it. Okay, next is Infinifactory at effectively $17, 33% off. I'd say wait, it's early access, they're adding more to the game. It's made by the people that made Space Cam, and is a damn good puzzle game. That said, again, $17, not the greatest price tag, so unless you're super interested in puzzle games, you're gonna get a better deal on this one if you wait. Next up is FTL, $2.50, 75% off. Best deal I've ever seen for this game. It is very high quality, it is very fun, it's very hard. So if you like roguelikes, if you like strategy games, FTL is going to be a blast. However, if you don't like roguelikes, you're probably not going to like this one. It's very easy to blow your ship up purely by accident, lose your entire crew, set everything on fire, and, you know, die amongst the flames. It is damn good, damn hard. So if you like roguelikes, I'm not sure how you don't already have this game, but you absolutely should pick it up. And if you like strategy games, if you liked if you like ship-to-ship combat, FTL is worth picking up, especially at that price tag. Skipping Gemcraft, don't know what it is. War Machine Tactics is a bad price and is a bad game. Broken Sword 5, it's Adventure Time, I think. I don't know much about it. I'm going to skip it anyway. Damned is a bad game, barely works, and they're technically still updating it, but it's been in early access for years, and progress has been slow to the point where it's comical how bad the game still is. It does have the free back for $15, but I truly do not recommend this, just because there's a fair chance that you're not even going to be able to play with your friends, or it's just going to take a lot of work to do so, which is kind of annoying, to say the least. I've tried playing this game several times, and it's always ended in abject failure. The monster was glitching out in a corner, and everybody else was just dying randomly, when the person who was controlling the monster had gone off to go get dinner from across the street. It was pretty sad. Okay, next up is Mark the Ninja at 85% off, $2.24. This is a damn good deal. You can get the DLC, and I truly do recommend getting it for like an extra 40 cents. So, so effectively $3 for Mark the Ninja, and you are going to get your money's worth. The game is wonderful. It's very, very high quality. The visuals are great. The music is good, very atmospheric. The writing is, I mean, simplistic. You're a ninja out for revenge, stuff like that, but you know what? That's not the highlight of it. And it's also made by the people that made Invisible Incorporated and Don't Starve. So if you're looking for a very, very high pedigree indie/AA title, Mark of the Ninja is absolutely the way to go. Okay, next up is Hero Siege at 85% off for $1. Actually, less than $1. It's a good price tag for ultimately a game that pisses me off to no end. The game went early access, and then within a week or two was on super cheap sale on some kind of bundle somewhere, and then repeatedly did as such for a while, so anybody that paid full price effectively got screwed. And then the developer started selling DLC, which is equally annoying. So, you know, to pick up the actual full Hero Siege game, it'll be about $5. It does have online co-op, so if you do want to play with friends, it's not a bad game to pick up, but I don't like the developer that much, so I have a hard time recommending this game, even though it is actually a decent game. Okay, next up is Tom Clancy's franchise. There's no franchise pack. You're kind of on your own on this one. I recommend the Splinter Cell series and the Rainbow Six series. The Ghost Recon and the Hawks games are a little bit harder to recommend just because I've never played them and I don't know how functional they are. But the Splinter Cell ones are story-based, and the Rainbow Six ones are co-op. And they're a bit hit and miss still, so I recommend, you know, figuring out exactly which Splinter Cell games are good. I think there might be a little bit of continuity between all of them, so I guess keep an eye out for that one. Okay, next up is Blood Bowl Chaos Edition. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, every single Tom Clancy's game is 75% off. Most of them are $2.50, except for Blacklist, which I believe is like $7, something like that. But decent price tags all around. So if you want to pick up a Tom Clancy game, all of them are great prices, and most of them are good. Okay, next up is Blood Bowl Chaos Edition. For $7.50, it's 75% off. It's a fairly old game, comparatively. I don't know, it's like 3-4 years old. Okay, 3 years old. So I guess it's not that old, but ultimately the reason why I would say that it's not worth picking it up right now is because the sequel is coming out fairly soon and is going to be all around better. So unless you're super passionate in getting into Blood Bowl right now, wait, you will have more fun with the second one, assuming it doesn't release as utter crap. At which point I'd say, well, I mean, Blood Bowl will be on sale again. Okay, next up is Shadowrun Chronicles Boston Lockdown. At $10.20, 66% off. It's a fairly good game. It's a MMO version of Shadowrun Returns. I mean, kind of. It's really just an MMO Shadowrun game. There's no real parallel or even crossover between Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall, or Shadowrun Chronicles. I believe, actually, Shadowrun Chronicles is made by a completely separate studio. So if you're looking into, if you really liked Shadowrun Returns or Shadowrun Dragonfall, this is going to feel fairly similar and still fairly good, but it's not going to feel, well, it's not going to be the same level of pedigree or quality. That said, $10 price tag is not bad for this game, and I'm not sure if and when it'll ever get any cheaper. That said, the company making the game is currently going bankrupt, so I'm not entirely sure what the status of the game is going to be. The servers are probably going to stay up for the next couple of years, but it might have some bumpy development for the next year or so as they figure things out. Maybe they'll turn around, be fine, get the money they need, or maybe Microsoft will, put the boot down, take the game, hand it to somebody else, and then either expand it or just give up on it. It'd be awesome if the people that made Shadowrun Returns picked up the product, but ultimately they're busy with their own games. So there's that. But if you want to play Shadowrun with friends, if you like Shadowrun Returns, you're going to like this one. Price tag's a little bit higher, but I mean, it just got updated and it's fairly new. Okay, next up is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Haven't played this one, but with the price tag of $5, if you like role-playing games that actually involves role-playing, then Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is probably worth picking up. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and everybody recommends it. Like every time I go over and look at a thread on game deals, that is one of the games they recommend. Okay, I'm gonna skip Omnom Galaxy. It's a fairly cheap price, so if you know what it is, this is probably a good time to pick it up. But as it stands, I cannot figure out what it is, what it's about, and it's probably best to do your own research if you're interested, or you probably already know. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. I guess it's a strategy game of all things. No clue. It's cheap though, so that is something to keep in mind. Okay, skipping Distant Worlds, it's super cheap. Well, not super cheap, it's fairly expensive and therefore probably not worth it. It's a 4X strategy game, apparently. Go figure. God, that's an awful user interface. Apparently got positive reviews, but ugh. Alright, anyway, let's move on. Beasts of Prey. Don't pick this up. It's a lot cheaper than Ark, but it's not nearly as good, and it's got pretty bad reviews. So, honestly, I'd say, I know Ark is 3 to 4 times the price, but you're going to get a lot more mileage out of that one than this one. Okay, Jazzpunk at $3.74. It's kind of like this weird iconographic 3D, 2D adventure game. Everybody kind of looks like, the bathroom signs or like the Pringles Man and stuff like that. I truly do not know what it is, gameplay-wise, apart from like it being funny and an adventure game. So, don't know, but it's a damn good price. So if you've heard of Jazzpunk and you're interested in it, now is the time to pick it up. And if not, and you like adventure games, I'd recommend at least looking into Jazzpunk, if not picking it up. Okay, skipping Shout of the Avatar. It's a bad MMO and it's got a bad price. Bulletstorm, great price for a game that might or might not work on your system. It's still games for Windows Live, and chances are nobody's going to port it over or, extract it from that service. So it's effectively dead, the multiplayer is non-functional anymore, and the campaign, while great, is ultimately skippable. I have a copy of it, I can't play it anymore, I'm salty about this. And eventually, the only way people are going to be able to play the game is by pirating it, which is the main reason why the developers said they were done with the series. It's Seriously, the game ends on a cliffhanger, and then it's just like, well, see you on the next game, and then it's never going to happen. Oh well. Either way, damn good price tag. If you can run games for Windows Live, it's probably worth picking up, but if you can't, don't even bother. Okay. Luckily, the next section, the Steam Monster Summer games, I don't know most of them, so I'm going to skip past a lot. Don't know about Neverending Nightmares, but it's horror. I don't know horror. Infested Planet, you take control of five space marines, and you have to, you know, strategically take out like 100,000 alien life forms. It's actually really cool. It's not much to look at, but it's got some interesting gameplay mechanics, and I would recommend it. It's only single player. You can't squad up with friends. You are controlling everything together. So as far as strategy games go, it actually looks pretty interesting, and with the price tag of $3.74, is probably worth picking up. Let's see. Homebrew at $7.19, 60% off. Decent price for effectively what's like a deeper version of RoboCraft. But you're not fighting people, you're just tootling around in them. That said, ultimately the price will go lower and the game will get finished at some point along the way. So there'll probably be a sale around then, and I'd recommend picking it up then as well. Because it's a little bit too deep for most people, and I mean, it's a decent price tag. So I guess if you've seen it and you like Homebrew, well, if you like not sandbox, but like building games with a fairly in-depth physics engine, then Homebrew is probably going to be worth picking up. Okay, Primal Carnage, yeah, I am stumbling over my words here. Primal Carnage Extinction. It plays like Dino D-Day. It's humans versus dinosaurs. Humans shoot dinosaurs, dinosaurs eat humans. It's a fairly clever game. It's fairly fun. If you ever want to play as a T-Rex running around eating people, this is the game to play. $10 is a little bit steep, especially for a game that ultimately you're going to want to play with friends as well. That said, it's better than Dino D-Day, and therefore it's probably worth picking up if you like that sort of thing. It'll probably go cheaper by Christmas as well. So I guess it's kind of one of those where it's like, if you want it, pick it up now. It's a decent price. But ultimately, it's going to go cheaper. Okay, skipping Victory at Sea. Don't know anything about that. Strider at $4.50, 70% off. It's a damn good price for a damn good game. It's a sort of sequel. I don't know if it's a direct sequel to the Strider games, I want to say from like the PS1 era. But it's gorgeous. It made the transition from 16-bit, 32-bit graphics, I want to say, to 3D very well. It's very bright, it's very colorful, and it's a very high-quality game. So, assuming you have a computer that can run the game, because it's limited to computers that can only run DirectX 11 for whatever reason, then I would highly recommend picking it up. That's it. If you have an older computer, then I'd recommend skipping at least for a while until you get a replacement, because you're not even going to be able to load the game up. Okay, next up is Reus. $2.50, 75% off. It is a god game. You kind of seed the land, and humans pop up, and then you have to kind of guide their civilization. But if the humans get too dickish or too unhappy or whatever, they might start attacking you. They might blow up the nearby civilizations. They might just turn into utter dicks, never breed, and then die off eventually. It's a very interesting game, and if you like god games, this is probably the one to go with. That said, with the price, actually, yeah, absolutely, with the price tag of $2.50, it's worth picking up. And it's got a fairly good tutorial system, so if you've never gotten into a god game before, Reus is probably one of the best, if not the best out right now. It's also drop dead gorgeous, so there's that. Okay, and lastly on the list is Freedom Planet at $4.50, 70% off. It is a great game if you grew up and loved the Sonic games. It plays fairly similarly to them, though it's got a better combat system and more interesting bosses. The writing's a little bit campier, art style's almost identical, which is great. It is, I mean, it is a wonderful homage, and I truly would recommend it for all of you, like, retro Sonic fans out there. But also, you know, great price tag, so if you want to get into it, now is the time. I think there are, like, 3 playable characters, and, like, the game itself is fairly long, so you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of this game. Okay, and with that, let's go quickly back over things that are worth it. So Freedom Planet for Sonic fans, Reus for God Game fans, Strider for Strider fans, or platformer fans, or just hack and slash action platformer, whatever games. It's very pretty, very well done. Let's see. Bulletstorm, if you can somehow play it again, is generally worth it, but make sure that you can before you pick it up, otherwise you're going to be very disappointed. Shadowrun Chronicles, if you want to play Shadowrun with friends, I know the company might be shutting down, but you're still safe as far as gameplay goes, it just might not expand from here. Hero Siege, if you like Diablo wave defense sort of games, I don't know. Back to the Future, if you like the Back to the Future movies. FTL, if you like ship-to-ship combat or roguelikes. It is an absolute must-have. Mark of the Ninja for $3. Wonderful game. Absolutely recommended to pretty much everyone. Let's see. Titan Souls, kind of same boat. Not as great of a sale, but it's never been cheaper. Battle Block Theater, best seal of the best seal of the day. I always say it once per episode. Seal instead of sale. Best sale of the day. Battle Block Theater, $1.50, though I'd say pick up 2. Hand one to a friend. Play it with them. You truly cannot go wrong with that game. Let's see. The Walking Dead games, $6.25 each. Both are absolutely worth picking up. Great games all around. Let's see. And last but not least, the Batman games. At $5 a piece, they are each worth picking up. I recommend picking up Asylum and City. Yeah, I'd recommend picking up and playing Asylum and then City. City is hands down better, but there is a direct continuation of the story. So it's kind of important to see, the plot unfold between the two. Okay, and with that, I guess I will see you guys on the next episode of the, the next daily deal review video for the Steam Monster Summer Sale. If you like this video in any way, shape, or form, please leave me a like. It helps more than you know. If you want me to get more in depth about different games, why I recommend them, why I don't recommend them, I'll ask and I'll leave a comment below. As to, more details. And I guess if you want to see more, hit subscribe, because I do a heck of a lot of these. At this point, at least one a day, as long as we're doing the Steam Monster Summer Sale. And I'm probably going to start doing more as we go along in throughout the year, because of course there are Humble Bundles, other stuff like that, so I'm going to start covering them too. So, with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and as always, thanks for watching.